My family disowned me 15 years ago. Complete no contact. Now, all at once, they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Disclaimer, part of this is from a post on Am I the A-hole? That was removed, then added to the events of today. I do not know if this goes here. I just needed to get it out. I confronted them today, and I cannot stop crying or shaking. I do not know why. I do not know what is wrong with me right now. I am finally calming down a little to get this done.
So, I, a 36-year-old male, got into some trouble 15 years ago.
I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day, I carry all the shame, guilt, and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up, this is not cultural or religious. It is just shame to the family name. The situation was that when I was 19, my ID was stolen and being used in another state, which created a situation where my driver's license was suspended nationwide. Somehow, any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. However, I had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay, but I could not because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also, at the time, my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down, so to try and make ends meet, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that with a couple more freelance jobs, I would be able to finally pay the tickets. This was never the case, and the long story short of it is that I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing the tickets in my home state. However, my family felt otherwise, and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent, and the freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I did not need them, so a year later I changed my last name, phone number, and email. My social media is locked down so tightly you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point I'm happier than I have ever been. Enter the current time. 2 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door, and it was my mom and dad. Again, it had been 15 years, and I had not spoken to them, not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "How did you find me, and what are you doing here?" My mom's response was, $5,000 to a private investigator. Finally, a search of Facebook with just your first name found you, and the pie confirmed it was you. I responded, "You did not answer my second question. What are you doing here?" My mom again, "It has been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you have learned your lesson and you are succeeding. You have missed out on a lot of things." I ended with, "Yes, I have learned my lesson. One of them is do not think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed. And I did it entirely without you. Please leave and do not ever come back." I shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door, and closed all the curtains. I am guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes, knocking and demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high, and went back to sleep. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. But the truth is, I do not know any of them, and I do not think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on 2 hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far, that I should have given them a chance, and if I did not like what they had to say, then I could have told them to go away. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it, but no. They have taken to stalking me. I will be completely honest, they are harmless, but just a real pain in the butt. Also, I have been messing with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It is kind of funny. If I say yes, then it is game on. The first night, he came over and we walked downtown to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to. Another night, we went to the porn store. That was the best one. This past week, the way my days off fell, I had a 5-day stretch, so I decided to go to the city for a few days. I am within walking distance to the Amtrak station, and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time, and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform were even telling me that they were talking to me, and I said that I knew, but I did not want to deal with them. The train came, and I got on and left them there to watch. I loved it. It got to the point where I finally had to acknowledge them. They were not going to go away, so we met at the park across from my apartment. I did not hold anything back. I told them this was the one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge. I was their jury, thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them that as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of anything and everything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them why, after 15 years, they were demanding to be back in my life and why they made the decision to disown me. They told me that I ruined the family name and that the shame I brought to the family was horrible, and that this was the only way to make it right, to get rid of me. They said that recently my name has been coming up in conversation and that the family has grown with a lot of new people. They said that brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law are asking questions about who Brinley is, and that I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with, and the same for a nephew who was born last year. They said now should be the time to fix things. They also said that, looking at my apartment and the life I had, I must have learned my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I finally cut them off and told them that I could not stand to hear anymore. I was at the point where I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore. Not one person. I told them that they just need to tell everyone the truth, that I was in jail for 2 weeks, and because of this, the decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own and that my one cousin, Jean, who is only a cousin by marriage, was the one who was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them that to this day I am doing everything on my own, rely on nobody, and do not need or want them in any part of my life. They made their decisions, and I am making mine. I told them this would be the last time we talked and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me, and that if they continued to follow me around or show up at my apartment, I would have them arrested for trespassing. Then I went back home and again locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying ever since. Final update. Many of you have been asking for an update. First and foremost, thank you all for your responses. I was overwhelmed. I read every single one. I just could not keep up enough to respond to them. I also worked some extra shifts and had some really nice overtime, which right now comes in handy. Please just know I was not ignoring you. I just could not keep up. This is not the update that many of you were most likely hoping for. I have not heard from my family since I confronted them. I am hoping that it is all done and over, but at the same time, I am thinking they are trying something else. I wanted to address some other things. Many are saying they are out for money or body parts, that they see I am successful and such. I cannot see this being the case. I truly do not think it is money. If they were able to drop $5,000 for a private investigator, then I cannot see them hurting financially. My dad worked as an ORD for his entire career and made good money. My mom worked for a global corporation as a historical document manager. I did not ask, but I am thinking that they might even still be working. Others said maybe they need body parts. I cannot see this being the case either because all of these things would have been mentioned the first or last time we talked. People have mentioned that they see me being successful and want in on it and want to take the credit, saying that they are responsible for that because of how they treated me. I am successful in my own way. My education is in healthcare management, and I work as a unit secretary. I have been here for a while, and I truly love my job. I am at the top of my pay scale, and that is okay. I have made a life for myself. Yes, I do have some money stashed away. I live below my means to do what I have done. I am single with no kids, so it has allowed me to save money. And now on with the update. This is a long update because it is part of a conversation I had with my cousin. I have not heard from any of them since the last meeting where I confronted them. I am hoping that they are just gone at this point. I truly do not want anything to do with any of them. I do not care that I have nieces or nephews or that I have new brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. I would have to know my sister and brother and my parents to know all these new people, and frankly, all of them are strangers. And it just brings up a lot of bad emotions. My cousin Jean is the only person who I have anything to do with, and she has been my rock. I cannot begin to thank her enough for all she has done. She has been on vacation for a few weeks, so she did not know much of what happened. She got back and came over the other night. She showed up with wine, pizza, and cheesecake. God, I love that woman. I opened the door and was greeted with, "The wise woman has arrived and has brought the makings of a great evening." I started crying, to her response, "However, it looks like I should have arrived a few days ago." She set everything on the counter and just hugged me to get me calmed down. Finally, as she opened the wine and fixed up dinner, I told her everything. At the end, she got a vindictive smile on her face and was like, "We need to talk. It is time for some family secrets to be told." First, she started with telling me that regardless of what others had said, what happened was not my fault. I was stuck in the perfect storm, which just blew up. She told me she saw my folder that had all of the work I had done to fix the problem, but it just did not go fast enough. She reminded me that I did not kill anyone, I did not deal drugs, or anything like that. I was stuck in a situation that did not get fixed fast enough. She went on to tell me that it was no surprise that when I did the name change, I chose the one I did. Come to find out, it was the last name I was born under, which was my grandmother's, my mother's maiden name. Jean said, "Do not let your parents fool you. They are not the pure pillars of the community that they want you to believe." I have always known that their relationship was not the best, but when I was born they were split up and my mom was trying to hide me from my dad. My grandparents did not like him, so it was decided to give me my grandmother's family name. She was getting more and more pissed off as she spoke. "So, let us talk about names, since they are so hellbent on how you shamed the family name. Your mother was the one who was born under the influential names. Her mother's family, The name you took pretty much owned 2 of the local towns in our county. Your grandfather's name owned a few businesses in a different town. Your father's family was never heard of. They were from a different state and moved here for work purposes. Your dad has been writing off your mother's name and connections. Even to this day, your dad's family is pretty much a bunch of unknowns. On top of that, even if your grandparents were alive, they would have been completely behind you and would not have bought into that whole BS about shaming the family name. The only time I ever saw her in a mood like this was when I was in college, and when she introduced herself to the class, she looked square at me and made it clear that she had no favorites. All of this has really made me look at my parents in a different way, and none of it is positive. It just reaffirms what I want even more, which is for them to just go away and never come back. To the small few of you saying this is fake, fan fiction, and whatnot, go for it. Apparently, all of you live in perfect worlds with perfect families, and you most likely say the same thing to every post you read. I could not give 2 craps, a flying crap, or a rat's butt what you think. I just need to get this out.